If you go to Debenhams, the top floor, Debenhams top floor, there's a restroom inside there. Okay. Okay, let's go then. Okay, fantastic.
Yes, of course.
Makeup University. Now I'm going to be talking quite quickly today because we're running a bit late. That doesn't work very well for people whose English isn't fantastic. So if I'm saying anything too quickly, please wave your hand. Slow down, Fred, slow down. I will explain in a lot slower possible. Right, so first of all, before we get going, Balliol College over here. Balliol College is one of the oldest colleges here at Oxford. Now in Oxford, we love nothing more than to argue. And there's nothing we love to argue more about than who is the oldest college here at Oxford. This debate has gone on for hundreds and hundreds of years. There's still no answer. Very today is a museum. You can go around here after the tour. My favourite item inside here is which Albert Einstein used to explain his theory of relativity in the Rhodes book in the 1930s. After Einstein gave his lecture, they kept his chalkboard. And you can go inside there and see Einstein's chalkboard with his equations still intact. It's quite a nice little outfit. So if we look over here, this is Blackwell's. Blackwell's is a famous chain of bookstores in England. And this was the first one to be established here towards the end of the 19th century. Now a lot of people look at that building and they say, not very interesting, but there is a room underground Sheldonian Theatre. Now the Sheldonian Theatre is one of the most important buildings at Oxford. And we have various ceremonies taking place inside this building. It was built by a man named Sir Christopher Wren. Now Sir Christopher Wren is one of the best architects England has ever produced. Have we seen St. Paul's Cathedral in London? Okay, not really. St. Paul's Cathedral in London is a very famous building, which Sir Christopher Wren designed. He also designed this building here. And it's used for degree ceremonies. No, please, much better job. Okay guys, how are we doing? Guys, if you want to come in, oh, you've shaved, right, okay. If you want to come, you want to hear if you don't. This here is Hertford College, okay? So, Hertford College is quite a liberal college. In the 1960s, they introduced the Hertford scheme. Now the idea of the Hertford scheme was to get children from state schools, which is schools funded by the government in England, to come and study at this college. A lot of people said if you get these poor students applying to this college here, the academic achievements will fall. When they did, they actually rose. There's no surprise there. In the centre of the college, we have the college lodge, which is home to the college cat, called Simpkins. She's the ninth of her lineage to hold this name. Every time the cat dies, they buy another cat, and they call her Simpkins. And this is the ninth one. Fantastic. Okay, we've had quite a few famous graduates from this college, including Evelyn Ward. Evelyn Ward writes her book, Lewis and Harry Potter as well. A lot of filming took place around Oxford, so a lot of people come to see where the filming took place. Now, Ward was a really interesting guy. In his book, Decline and Fall, he would mention a group here at Oxford known as the Bullingdon Club. Now, the Bullingdon Club is a secret society at Oxford, and it's reserved for the very wealthy individuals at the university. You have to have a huge amount of money in order to be by a man named Sir Thomas Bodley. And he gave a huge amount of money and a large collection of books for it to be built in 1602. But in 1610, he held a meeting in London with the London Stationery Company. And here he achieved for this library a copyright status. Copyright status entitles this library for one free book. Every book published in England.
А вот стоят девушки, которые не слушают ничего.
Конечно, слушаем. Уже пошли.
Over 7 floors of E+, well over 5 million in the new Bodleian, and then lots in a salt mine in Cheshire. We store lots of books inside there. The Bodleian Library receives around 4,000 new books every week. Every week, yeah. So it's continually having to add to its massive collection. Large amounts of time and money goes into ensuring that a student can come here and ask for the 11th millionth book and then be given it in a reasonable time. It's a massive complex. It's not the only library in Oxford. We have over 100 libraries at the university. If you took all the bookshelf space at Oxford and you lined it up one by one, you'd have about 117 miles of bookshelves. A man named James Gibbs. It was opened in 1749. James Gibbs is one of the best architects that England has ever produced. And this, in my view, is one of the most beautiful buildings we have here in England. Now, it was paid for by a man named Dr. John Radcliffe. This is why we have the Radcliffe camera. He was a fantastic medic here at the university, and when he died, he left a huge amount of money to the university and the city. The city built the John Radcliffe Hospital, where I was born in Oxford, and the university built the John example for your tutor sessions. This is the 1-on-2 time, 1-on-3 time, with a professor attached to your college, Balliol College, and your subject, law, in this example. The hour, every hour. And if you want to hear it ring, it'll ring at 9:05 tonight, 101 times. 101 times to all the scholars who were here at Christ Church when it was first built, and 9:05 because 9 o'clock was their curfew. Now, if 9 o'clock is their curfew, why does it ring at 9:05? Well, in Oxford, we love to be very, very exact. And if you are very exact, you will know that technically 9:05 Greenwich Mean Time is 9 o'clock in Oxford due to the 1 degrees difference on the map. So that's why it rings at 9:05 one time. You guys are now going to head with Ashley down here over to the visitors entrance, and if you want to, go inside Christ Church and see some of the place where the filming was. I have to go, unfortunately.